Going on, Legionary here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Daily Gaming XP Grind, episode 62. So we're going to go over an XP update, 296,000 attack XP, 1 million woodcutting XP, 2,009,000 construction XP, runecrafting 519,000 XP, magic 84,000 XP. We worked on this quite a little bit, behind the scenes. Mining 4,061,000, artisan 4,094,000, and cooking 224,000. We did work on cooking a little bit behind the scenes as well. So we're actually going to be shooting down all of our rune essence really quick. So if you want to join us along this path that we've created, so that way we can basically get ourselves in position to mass farm rune crafting XP. That's basically what we're trying to do. So we do have to go fix our crystal bow, which is unfortunate because we just started. But we will get down a couple before we even do that, because I feel like that makes the most sense to sort of get these out the way. You can see here the landscape has been incredibly changed ever since we cut down all the trees. For those of you who haven't followed all of our episodes, we've done quite a bit of work in the game to eliminate a lot of those different things. You can see the glitch in the game right there. So it appears some of these trees are here that actually are not. And if you were to walk closer, they wouldn't actually be there. So let's go ahead and fix our crystal bow and fix our whip. It's unfortunate. Some of these things just take a considerable amount of time. It's no fun. I'm trying to get to 3. There we go. We're going to put all the stuff in our inventory away as well, because I'd like to do a little bit more after we shoot down all the rune essence. So let's go ahead and empty out our inventory. We did put 2 new lodestones out, which are going to allow us to basically... I didn't even fix it and I put it away. But yeah, basically we added 2 new lodestones, which are going to allow us to get a little bit more renaissance. But unfortunately, what we realized in doing so was that basically it's not going to work. And the reason that it's not going to work is because it's too close to the Titanic and all those other things. So it makes it incredibly difficult to actually do that. We actually can't do it like we thought we were going to be able to, because it just takes a ridiculous amount of time to load in. So I'm glad that we got to figure out that behind the scenes and you guys didn't have to witness it, because it was really unbearable to have to sit and watch that. I don't remember if it's 1 or 2 to fix the staff. So let's go ahead and check the blight. The Blightwood battle staff, that's right. So it took 2. So I'm glad we grabbed a little bit extra. So anyway, let's go ahead and get some water, because it appears that we don't have any. And then we're going to get started on our journey. We actually probably want more, like a little bit more. But let's go ahead and drop these in here. And then we're going to get started on our journey. So we've already got most of these in the beginning area shot down. There's just so much. But I imagine once we're all done, that there's just going to be a ridiculous amount. My worry is, and this is obviously just completely paranoia, that these will disappear over time. I don't think that's going to happen, but obviously it's something that I'm kind of concerned about, because we've already got these massive piles. I don't see why they would, but at the same time, it would be horrible, because not only is it a loss of XP, it's a waste of time in doing this, but some of these piles I would thought would be a lot bigger by now, but I guess they're just not, so that's okay. I wish you could shoot a little bit more arrows without your energy running out, but I guess that sort of stays true with the other versions of RuneScape, where you can't just do things infinitely, really. So, I mean, it makes sense that you obviously wouldn't be able to do that potentially in real life, comparing it to a survival game. You're not going to just be able to do something a million times over and not have some sort of energy pool that's required to do it. So I think we got all the... No, we didn't. It just hadn't loaded in. So we've got quite a bit we still got to get. I think it's just incredibly time consuming to do this, but it would be the same if you were going to do it the other way around. I think what this just allows you to do is do other things in the game. I've talked about it a little bit. It's the way that I prefer to do it, and it just allows you to do other things in the game, and then you can come back and do this all at once. I think it's the best approach. Obviously, there's many ways you can do this, and you don't have to do it this way. But, I mean, right now I'm not doing so great, but normally I could see that all the time I've spent doing this actually helps my accuracy. So when range does come to the game, it will benefit me. This is a horrible representation of that, though, because I'm not doing very good. So terrible representation right now. Sometimes the arrows are a little bit strayed anyway, though, so sometimes it's not my fault, but I think in this particular case, it's definitely my fault. I need to get on the ball, but you can see it's improving a little bit. But it's also sort of, it could be like a little fun game you do. Look at the size of that Renaissance pile. But it can be a game you play. You're sort of trying to see how good you can get your accuracy, because I think that's going to be really important in the game when range does come, especially with different mechanics on different creatures that are going to be coming for the game at a later time. I think it'll be interesting to see working on accuracy. So I'm not sure why all the other rune essence has not respawned, but it's not really that big of a deal. This just gives us an opportunity to kill some sheep and ram while we wait and work on our attack XP a little bit. I just wish you got faster XP. It just seems like it takes like an eternity. But then again, I think that just really goes to show we have to wait and see. But I think ultimately what I think is going to be required and what I think is going to be necessary to get to level 99 could be completely wrong. I mean, it could be 500,000 XP. I've really got no idea what that's going to look like, but I think that I potentially overshot in a lot of ways. But it's also interesting to think that they do have to make the game take a long time to sort of complete. And if they don't have sort of crazy expectations for XP to get to 99, it has to also feel rewarding. And I think that's something that you get with the other RuneScapes, is after having put in all this time and sort of really grinding it out, you definitely got a feeling of accomplishment. And if you take that from this game, even though it's survival, I still think you're left with the feeling of, did I earn that? And what did it feel like when I finally reached the end? So I think it's really important to still have some sort of reward with that and have completed it, and what that's going to look like and feel like. And I think it's important that they sort of keep doing that. I think it's an important part of the game to have a rewarding feeling when you've accomplished something. So I suppose I'll shoot this down just for the sake that I'm already here. But you can see the accuracy right there, so a lot better than it was when I first started. I think I haven't done this what seems like forever, but it's really not. It's just like just a day or so. But obviously, the more time you spend shooting them down, the better your accuracy is going to get, and it's just keep improving all the time. But ultimately, it seems like we're not making as much progression in XP. But I think really the reason it appears that way is because we're no longer working on things that you can get ridiculous amounts of XP in such a short amount of time. A lot of the skills that you were able to do that were like artisan, mining, let's see, wood cutting somewhat, because you have an infinite amount of trees if you decide not to cut down the root. So there's probably a couple of other skills that I forgot that you can actually get really good at. Did I mention construction? I'm not sure if I did. But that's just something you can grind out mass amounts of XP. So obviously, when we sort of went and completed different goals that we had, it appeared to be coming a lot faster, and that's because it did. Certain skills don't really have that ability. I guess that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if I was able to just complete these things in just such a short amount of time, then I guess you wouldn't really have anything left to do in the game. So I think it's important that they also sort of separate these things and make it so you're still constantly working towards something. Otherwise, then there wouldn't be left anything in the game to do. So let's see. We can go kill some more sheep and ram. But ultimately, gonna keep collecting these dwellberries, even though it's the worst possible situation. I believe I really hope that they sort of change the way some of these things are going to work in Felolo. As I've discussed before, yes, it's going to be harder to kill the creatures. So it's not necessarily going to be super fast at XP when you regards to cooking and even getting the XP in whatever attack style you're going to be attacking with these. Just remember that the Garu guard, I don't know, the one with the shield. Like, look how hard he is to kill. He's level 4. I believe that the one you have to fight for the quest in a castle at the Stormtouched Highlands level 5, that guy is a beast. The other guy's a beast too. I mean, they both could basically one-shot you. But the one in the castle, he's level 5, I believe. And that's just horrible. And you'd have to say, if that's any sort of sneak peek into what it's going to look like when new creatures come to the game, we're in trouble. It's not like, oh, this is going to be easy XP. But I do believe that, like animals won't require that much work. They're not going to be that hard to kill. But I believe that like creatures are, whatever they might be, they probably won't all have ridiculous mechanics. That's probably just going to be like things that you fight and kill. Like basically more like goblins, garus, things like that. Like the skeletons they're going to be adding in Valhalla. Those are not going to be probably the easiest thing to kill. Obviously, they're going to present a challenge, which is obviously something we all want in the game. I think it sort of gives it life. If everything's too basic, too easy, it's not really fun. You don't really have a rewarding feeling when you've accomplished it. So we're going to try to stay away from the fractured, well, actually the beginner area of the Stormtorch Highlands. And the reason is because I get lag there now. And I didn't really get that bad a lag before. So I'm not quite sure why that's happening. But ultimately, we don't want to encounter that again. I tried to earlier do an episode. I couldn't even do it because ultimately I got stuck over there for about 7 minutes. And then I died and couldn't get back to my body. And it was just absolutely horrible. And ultimately, everything about it went wrong, and I couldn't essentially make that an episode at that point. So that just became something we did behind the scenes, because I was not going to basically bring you guys along for an episode where everything was stuck, everything was still, and ultimately not a lot got accomplished in that behind the scene time. So it was really irritating and put me through quite a bit of turmoil. So it was just absolutely horrible. So I'm glad that we're moved past that now, and we're actually at a place where we're sort of getting back to what we want to do, which is killing things, getting XP, getting resources, and things like that. So if there's anything I could add about sort of what range is going to do for the game, it's going to add like a little bit, because then 3 months later, we're going to be getting new content in the game. Obviously, it's taking what seems like eternity, and hopefully these things start to just come to the game and add a new sort of life to it, because ultimately, like I said, it seems like it's taken forever. So once these things do come to the game, even if there's no new creatures when range comes to the game, I think there'll still be more to do. And I think that we're all going to be overall happy with it. There's so much, honestly, that can be done with Valhalla. And it's supposed to be 2 to 3 times as big as what we've already got in the game. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. I'm interested to see what else they're going to do, what kind of new armor we're going to have. I'm doing horrible, but we got it finally. But basically, what other new armors are going to come to the game? And then what are those going to look like? How cool are they going to be? Things like that. So the next episode, let's just talk about that a little bit. Because I am going to run around and collect more cooking resources. Even though these lower level cooking resources give terrible XP, I feel like I don't really want to keep going back to the sheep and ram right now. It's sort of getting horrible for me. I've killed them so many times. So let's just go ahead and collect this stuff. And then we're going to talk about what my next episode is going to be. We already sort of, I don't think we touched base. It was something I was going to do behind the scenes from the other video, but it didn't work out. So basically what I want to do is I'm going to be doing rune crafting in the next episode. We've got quite a bit on the ground. I know things don't disappear, but I'm not going to take the chance because I've got so much rune essence on the ground now. I would hate for that to all of a sudden just disappear somehow. It doesn't seem like it's a likely thing that would happen, but at the same time, I'm not going to take a chance. Let's see how good my range skills have gotten. I'm out of energy, but let's see if those rune essence nodes have helped me at all. I don't think I missed a shot. I think maybe one arrow, not sure. Maybe the first one, but I'd say that's pretty good. So I think you could actually benefit quite a bit from just sort of shooting down those Renaissance nodes and then teleporting around. Obviously, some people might say it's a waste of time. I don't. You can go over there and you could use your explosion and blast all the rocks at once, which would save you quite a bit of time. You could do it however you like. I just think it happens to be the most rewarding way anyway, because you're getting such a massive amount at once. Let's see if I can't get these potatoes. Once we're done with this, we will probably just do an XP update on what we have done. And it has not been a lot. Like I said, we've sort of gotten a lot of things knocked out in the game. So right now, we're just sort of running around working on these things that take an incredible amount of time. What's this over here? It looks like we might have left something. Is it interesting? It's an ash log. How did it even get way over there? Doesn't even make any sense. Hopefully when farming comes to the game, when you pick flax, you actually get XP for it. I think that would make a lot of sense. Let's see. So we're getting a little bit of cooking XP too just from doing this. It's not a lot, but everything helps with cooking because it takes so much time. There's lots of great areas to collect red berries if that's what you were trying to do, but ultimately, if you're trying to go for XP, this is not even an area where you really want to focus gathering all these things. We're just doing it because we're sort of tired of being out in the Storm-touched Highlands, and you do get a lot of XP though when you hang out there from the dwellberries and obviously from the sheep and ram. It's just a lot of teleporting, a lot running around, and so we're obviously going to keep doing that. I just trying to keep things a little bit fresh and separated because we spend so much time doing the same thing. But there's quite a bit of potatoes out here, and we're getting quite a bit of XP just from picking all this stuff. But I think it also helps when you sort of explore the game and the landscape. I think you're learning a lot more than you might realize. You're learning basically a little bit more how to navigate the terrain and things like that. So I think it's extremely beneficial to spend time doing that. I hate picking up extra logs. We've got a bronze pile of shields, which we worked. It wasn't that crazy, really. But we've got our army here, which is actually really cool. I don't know how much more we want to really add to it. I feel like we definitely made a statement with it. It's really cool. We were bored, and I wanted to do something really cool with all the armor and resources I had lying around. And believe it or not, I've still got so many bronze bars, so I could definitely keep working on that. And it looks like these already respawned. I think these are the first ones we grabbed. So I'm not quite sure if those were, but I believe so. And if that's the case, then it just goes to show how fast these things are respawning, and we got quite a bit. So let's go ahead and drop this into our I don't care bin. Yes, we have one of those. It's called I'm too lazy to put things back where they go. That's what it's really called. Let's see. Okay, so now we're done with that. So let's go do something else now. I guess we'll go back to the Storm-touched Islands. I could just end this episode, but I really don't want to do that. I feel like I'd like to get a little bit more killing in. And then we'll do an XP update, and then we're probably going to call it a day. I can't really find any more, but I think what we want to do is go to sleep. We'd rather do it in the daytime. It's a lot more dangerous to do it in Storm-touched Highlands when it's dark. And I'm sure a lot of you already know this. So just something else to keep in mind if you haven't really played the game a lot, or if you may be moving in a progression and you're sort of just taking your time with the game. That's something that you could expect when you go to the Storm-touched Islands. Go during the day. Just go during the day. Like 100%. Like, you'll be grateful that you did. And ultimately, it's just going to be a lot safer for you. And you're going to die a lot less. So it just ultimately feels like the animals spawn back a lot faster. I'm sorry, yes, in the daytime. And obviously, that's going to be important depending on what you're trying to do in the game. Some people really aren't trying to grind this ridiculous amount of resources like I am. So maybe you don't really need this many creatures. But at the same time, just trying to give possible helpful tips to you guys. I'm not sure what you're doing in the game, but obviously information is a very useful and important key to playing a game, no matter what game you're playing. So much to do, really. The rewards that I'm currently getting in the game do not feel great. I think that's probably the hardest thing. But as I've stated before, just because we're getting new creatures in the game, just because we're going to be getting new cooking recipes, doesn't mean it's all going to be easier. I believe that I've talked about this one other time, but sometimes we want something and then we get it and it doesn't look exactly like we thought it was going to look. And so it can look a lot of different ways. So I think the biggest thing that people are probably thinking is, okay, we've got new stuff coming to the game, and like any other game, you're going to get more XP for when you do that thing. But it does not necessarily correlate to basically you're going to get more XP. I mean, because in the long run, look how fast I'm able to kill these sheep and ram. And even though I'm getting little bits of XP, I am getting resources. And obviously the cooking XP is not great. But at the same time, I think you have to look at it like, once we get new creatures in the game, they're going to be really tough to kill. Unless they're animals, potentially not as bad. But they are going to have more health. So even though you don't get the most XP from doing this, I think that potentially it might actually even out. It really just depends. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing as far as like trying to even everything out with XP to with XP to the ratio of level, because you can see even here, what is this? The sheep and ram are like level 2 or 3, right? I think the ram's actually only like level 2, but the sheep's level 1. I'll check that out really quick. It's going to be an interesting thing. Because ultimately, let's see. So the ram is level 3 actually. So you get quite a bit of XP when you attack it. And then obviously the food probably gives you quite a bit of XP. But there's obviously takes time, and I just think that once the higher level creatures come to the game, it's just going to be a little bit more difficult to kill them. So you're not really going to get the reward in the way that I think a lot of people potentially are thinking that you're going to get it. It's just all going to take work. So what we're trying to do is essentially get some of this work knocked out, so that way when new things do come to the game, we've already put in a baseline of the bigger chunk of work, and then we won't have as far to go. And it's a good thing in a lot of ways, because we still get to enjoy the game. I think even though the game's still missing a lot, it's still got a lot to offer. So we're getting to enjoy it now, and we get to enjoy it then, and then we'll just be further along into the progression. I'm not quite sure what's going to be required to do certain things in the game when new updates come out. Not even sure if they're going to let us keep all of our XP. I've got no idea what's going on. But I don't see why they would erase it. I've talked about this a little bit as well, because you can't essentially punish people for still wanting to play your game and then let them sit here and do this. I think they said that at all costs, they are trying, basically, that's the last thing they want to do, is reset XP. So I think we're relatively safe. But then again, I've had some interesting things with Jagex in the past. So I can't 100% say that we're going to keep it, but at the same time, I'm fairly comfortable. I've talked about this once or twice as well. What would I do if they did reset the XP? I can't give an honest answer on that right now, because obviously in that moment, I would be incredibly upset, frustrated. I would feel lots of different feelings. Ultimately, for keeping grinding and playing their game when they were missing so much content, I guess I'd feel like the next step, I'm not sure what it would be. But for now, everything's okay, and we're just sort of going with the flow. But so until that time, I can't give a real answer. So I'm pretty sure we've done everything we can do in this episode, and it just seems like nighttime's coming so fast, even though it's actually not nighttime right now. It's just quite irritating. So let's go ahead and grab all this, put this in here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do an XP update. Not a lot happened in this episode. We just sort of brought you guys along, which is fine. We really enjoy that. And we just sort of started working on different things for cooking and attack and magic. But we are going to do an XP update, even though we didn't do a ridiculous amount. It's getting to the point where we're running out of space for all this junk. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this XP update out the way. We obviously got a lot of resources for cooking, which is going to be essential. Let's go ahead. So attack, 296,991 XP. Woodcutting, 1,330,000 XP. Construction, 2,009,463 XP. Rune crafting, 519,752. And then we've got magic, 85,406. That's taking a while to level up. Mining, 4,061,949. Artisan, 4,094,157. And cooking, 224,716. So obviously a lot of these skills just take a considerable amount of time to level up. That's it. There's no way around it. But obviously we're going to keep going, as this is our road to max in RuneScape Dragonwilds. And until next time, Legion Nuda out.